In 2009, we meet Baek Soo-jung, a driven straight-A student who doesn't take crap from anyone. Her classmates bully her, throwing jabs about her lack of a mom, money, or social status. But Soo-jung isn't the type to back down. She fights back with a sharp tongue and tough skin. Still, even though she carries herself like she doesn't need anyone, deep inside, she wishes she wasn't so independent, and that maybe she had someone to lean on, a first love to count on when things got tough. Back home, her younger brother Subin spends his days glued to video games while their dad is too busy with work to parent. That leaves Soo-jung to pick up the slack, nagging Subin, cooking, and handling everything. When she overhears his gamer friends mocking him for being low-ranked, she decides to step in. She makes a bold promise to level him up in just 3 days, even if it means grinding day and night with zero sleep. While gaming, she crosses paths with a player named Black Dragon, a 22-year-old who instantly throws shade at her for being only 19. Despite his cocky attitude, they team up to defeat a major villain, and he even swoops in to save her mid-battle, and somewhere in the chaos, she catches feelings. Black Dragon invites her to join his team, Fatal Attack, made up of 3 other players. At first, they tease her for her healer username, but when she reveals she's a girl, she changes her handle to Strawberry, and the playful teasing between her and Black Dragon only intensifies. Their in-game chemistry doesn't go unnoticed, and Soo-jung is low-key enjoying the attention. As they keep playing and texting outside the game, the two start bonding on a deeper level. He opens up about his life, admitting he has no parents and often feels lonely. They promise to be there for each other, slowly falling into a rhythm of constant chats and late-night gaming sessions. Then comes the ultimate test, as the team plans a real-life team meetup, where everyone shows up in character. Ultimate Pro is as intimidating as her avatar, Q-Tip gives off emo vibes, and Beanbug is soft and sweet. They all joke that Black Dragon never shows up for these kinds of events, but they believe he'll make an exception for Soo-jung. When a wannabe 15-year-old rock star suddenly shows up with a cringy performance and off-key singing, Soo-jung's world shatters, as that is Black Dragon. He publicly confesses his love in front of everyone, including her bullies, and she's beyond mortified. She calls him pathetic and storms off, humiliated. At home, crying into her pillow, she declares that her first love was nothing short of embarrassing. Fast forward to 2024, and Soo-jung has become a force to be reckoned with in the corporate world. Known as a director killer, she's already driven out 3 corrupt directors who couldn't handle her no-BS attitude. Her team respects and fears her, and everyone's bracing for the arrival of their next unlucky boss. At the same time, Ban Ju-yeon, heir to the Yeonsung Group and the chairwoman's only grandson, is undercover, rooting out corporate corruption from the inside. He keeps a low public profile, hiding his love for rock music and working hard to protect the family empire. His next assignment is to take over as the new director of Yeonsung Department Store, which is also Soo-jung's department. His secretary, Chief Kwon, informs him that his grandmother wants him to increase the profit and sales of the store, and since he is now in an important position, he should follow the rules more strictly. Ju-yeon is seen walking around with a suitcase as he reminisces on the rules he is meant to follow. He should always look perfect in public, never do things to harm his reputation, and give up on personal life that could damage his image as an ideal businessman. Turns out the suitcase contains a change of clothes for Ju-yeon, which he wore to a rock band concert. As he is dancing, Chief Kwon calls him about an emergency with his grandmother. While racing to the hospital for his grandmother, Ju-yeon gets into a minor car accident with none other person than Soo-jung. He tries to brush it off, but she is not letting him off that easily. She jumps into his car, determined to make sure he's not a scammer, and ends up tagging along to the hospital. Ju-yeon thinks he recognizes her, while she thinks he's just trying to flirt. Frustrated, he slips away into the crowd. Ju-yeon attends an employee's funeral with his grandmother and watches her comfort the deceased worker's son. The scene moves him as it triggers a flashback of the time she blamed him for his father's death. He has been walking a tightrope ever since, living under immense pressure as the successor. At home, he takes refuge in his secret otaku cave, hidden behind a sleek wall in his designer bedroom, which seems to be the only place he can breathe. Meanwhile, Soo-jung vents to Ultimate Pro, who is now running a restaurant, and starts piecing things together, saying there is something about Ju-yeon that feels eerily familiar, the way he talks, and the way he acts. The horrifying realization dawns on her that he might be Black Dragon, and she is not okay. The next day, at headquarters, Ju-yeon hears Soo-jong's voice echoing through the halls, complaining about everything from incompetent drivers to bad cafeteria food. She's clearly been holding things together every time a director vanished, and this time she's determined to get along with the new guy. Ju-yeon, meanwhile, is quietly observing everything and taking notes on how to improve the department, and Chief Kwon is impressed with his initiative. Ju-yeon drops by to see his friend, Chief Designer Kim Shin-won, a lovable mess and a serial flirt. Ju-yeon keeps him at arm's length and warns him to steer clear of office romances, then runs off when Shin-won accidentally stains his shirt. Soon after, Ju-yeon steps into his new office. The team nudges Soo-jong to greet him, and she decides to play it cool, do the whole office politics thing. But when she barges in, she finds him mid-shirt change and freezes. A massive dragon tattoo stretches across his back, and her jaw drops. This is the hit-and-run guy, but Ju-yeon rushing to cover her mouth, stopping her before she can say what she has just realized. Ju-yeon is getting dressed in his office, only to be caught off guard by Soo-jong barging in mid-change. The moment is as awkward as it gets, especially when he realizes she's not only the infamous director killer, but also the woman he accidentally hit with his car. To make things worse, she looks like she's about to scream, so he quickly covers her mouth and ushers her out, insisting they forget the whole thing ever happened. Still, the damage is done, and he mentally gives her one strike and decides he needs to keep an eye on her. Later, Ju-yeon steps out to grab a chocolate latte as he has a sweet tooth, but can't risk anyone seeing him indulge. Soo-jong shows up and tries to buy it for him, but he panics and bolts. Not long after, he ends up fighting with a little kid over a limited edition toy, only to run into Soo-jong again. Clearly not his day. Reluctantly, he gives the toy to the kid while Soo-jong watches with amusement. Ju-yeon starts seeing Soo-jong as a threat, thinking she knows too much. Between the hit and run, the tattoo, and his rock club secret, she's sitting on 3 of his biggest vulnerabilities. He floats the idea of firing her, but Chief Kwon shuts that down immediately. So instead, Ju-yeon decides to make her so miserable, she'll quit on her own. At the next meeting, he comes at her hard, nitpicking everything she says. But Soo-jong keeps her cool and claps back without breaking a sweat. Her senior, however, is less impressed, and she scolds her for speaking up too much and basically calls her a dog for working harder than everyone else. Still, Soo-jong refuses to play small, even though she's clearly getting worn down by the non-stop attacks from both her boss and her peers. Meanwhile, Ju-yeon enlists Shin-won to dig up dirt on Soo-jong through the team. But Shin-won has his own problems, namely a possessive girlfriend who gets jealous if he so much as breathes near another woman. A flirty waitress triggers her jealousy, and she demands they find a new place to eat. While scrolling through Instagram for restaurant options, Shin-won stumbles across Ultimate Pro's restaurant and finds her quirky captions weirdly entertaining. Later, Ju-yeon shows up to a team dinner and challenges Soo-jong to a drinking battle. The rest of the team leaves them to it, thinking they'll be fine. During their booze-fueled showdown, Soo-jong assumes Ju-yeon hates her for being a workaholic. But he surprises her by admitting he actually respects her hustle, and he just sees her as unstable. A ticking time bomb. He gets so drunk he starts asking for chocolate milk. Soo-jong, half amused and half confused, buys it for him and sends him home in a taxi. When she gets home, she finds her dad still working, and she tries to stop him, but he refuses, saying he can still work before he gets old. The next morning, Ju-yeon is mortified about losing to Soo-jong and being seen drunk. His grandmother checks in and reminds him that he cannot afford to mess up. A flashback shows just how brutal she can be. When he disappointed her once as a kid, she literally burned something he loved. Chief Kwon tries to reassure him, saying he didn't even seem that drunk and he'll win her approval soon. Back at HQ, the rumor mill is spinning. Everyone's talking about how Soo-jong outdrank the new director. Ju-yeon is pissed his image is in shambles, and when he hears the gossip, he lashes out, belittling her in front of the team. Soo-jong finally snaps and challenges him to fire her if he really hates her that much. Chief Kwon pulls him aside and warns him to chill before he ends up getting reported. Meanwhile, a teammate named Yang tips Soo-jong off, saying there's talk Ju-yeon is actually the heir to their company. Irritated by how things are spiraling, Ju-yeon checks in with Shin-won for dirt, but all he's found is that Soo-jong is insanely hardworking. On the flip side, Soo-jong decides it's time to collect some blackmail of her own. She follows Ju-yeon after work and finds him at Rockman Studio, a hidden rock club where he looks genuinely happy, like a different person. She snaps a photo and sends it to him. Within moments, Ju-yeon shows up at her place, frantic and drenched in sweat. Her dad thinks they're dating, but Ju-yeon is all business. He hands her a contract to delete the photo, and in exchange, he'll guarantee her job security, as long as she agrees to be at his beck and call. She signs without hesitation, though she's curious about why he cringes at her name. Still, she's too busy celebrating her newfound immunity at work to care. But the celebration doesn't last long. Ju-yeon takes the contract seriously as he keeps calling her and dragging her everywhere, under the excuse that he doesn't trust her and needs to monitor her closely. It gets so out of hand that he even brings her along for shopping, forcing her to watch him try on outfits. When she lingers a bit too long looking at one, he decides to wear it, and also rents a matching dress for her too, all for a formal event that night. Over on Shinwon's side, he shows up at Ultimate Pro's restaurant, only to nearly get run over by a cyclist. Ultimate Pro saves him with ease, and he's shocked by her strength. His girlfriend shows up and instantly accuses him of cheating just for smiling. Tired of the drama, she breaks up with him and he takes it in stride, hoping she'll be happier without him. When he wonders if Ultimate Pro sees him as a cheater, she shrugs it off, saying only people who cheat are cheaters. Back to the main duo, Soo-jung and Ju-yeon attend a posh party full of chaebol heirs. Ju-yeon spots some old bullies from his elite circle who mock him for being too uptight and having a terrifying grandmother. They taunt him, asking if he even has a girlfriend. Meanwhile, Soo-jung is just trying to find food. A random chaebol guy mistakes her for a call girl and tries to force himself on her. She resists, and he raises his hand to slap her, but Ju-yeon appears just in time. He throws the guy into the pool and grabs Soo-jung's hand. Then, with everyone watching, he calls her babe. After calling Soo-jung babe, Ju-yeon immediately backpedals, pretending he was talking to the guy saying, "Yeah, sure, bro." Soo-jung's hangry and over it, so Ju-yeon reluctantly takes her to a cafe. She gets distracted by an adorable stuffed toy giveaway, and he secretly approves of her taste before sending her home. Back at her place, Soo-jung carefully removes the pricey dress and fixes a power outage like a pro. Turns out she's a licensed electrician, and did it just to help her dad. Respect. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, Shin-won gives Ha-jin, aka Ultimate Pro, a crash course on promoting her business online. Their hands brush, sparks fly, and before you know it, they hook up. The next morning, she shuts down his offer to meet her parents. Later, her own parents roast her for quitting her job for love. She had married her high school sweetheart, got cheated on, divorced, and now runs a failing restaurant. At work, Ju-yeon is being his usual grumpy self, nitpicking about the dress not being dry cleaned, even though he kinda liked how she looked in it. But during a meeting, they unexpectedly vibe, same thoughts, same ideas, and the team is shook. They go scouting at a department store for their rebranding project and stumble upon a guy throwing a tantrum over broken sunglasses. Ju-yeon's about to scold him, but Soo-jung works her people skills and calms him down. It turns out the guy is Ju-yeon's favorite rock singer. Soo-jung pretends the autograph and selfie are for her, and Ju-yeon is quietly touched. He's even more impressed when she says he shouldn't be ashamed of his hobbies. Ju-yeon later tells Kwon he's not firing her anymore, and Soo-jung in turn tells the team he's actually a decent boss. That night, he catches her working late and tells her to go home, rudely of course, but throws in a compliment by telling her to keep the dress because it's pretty. Later, he's trying to store the rock star's autograph in his secret nerd den when Shin-won shows up with food and love problems. He asks Ju-yeon about destiny, which triggers some strawberry-shaped heartbreak trauma. Ju-yeon warns him to never fall in love and chases him out when teased. Ju-yeon visits his sister, Ha-jin's new shop, but is distracted by the delivery notification of his new collectible. Soo-jung's words echo in his head, and he actually smiles. Over at Sulo Restaurant, Ha-jin gets an extravagant surprise from Black Dragon, which includes flowers, a robot, and an ice sculpture. Soo-jung finds out and gets angry, as she also finds out that Ha-jin still secretly plays online games with Ju-yeon. At work, Soo-jung and Ju-yeon are finally bonding, and they end up sharing an elevator, and Soo-jung teases him about his smartwatch. She grabs his wrist. Things get tense. They lock eyes, and suddenly, Kwon walks in just in time to witness her accidentally smack Ju-yeon while trying to escape. They spot a limited edition pink toy. and Ju-yeon panics as he has something similar at home. He rushes home to confirm if it is his, and he finds out that his toy is also missing from its spot. As he panics, a flashback shows a younger Ju-yeon once came home heartbroken after Soo-jong rejected him, and his strict grandma lost it over his outfit and toys. She blamed his hobbies for her son's death and burned everything, including a toy gifted by his parents. Back in the present, he later finds the toy still safe at home, a huge crisis averted. But at the office, he overhears the team jokes about the mystery man who lost a toy, and Ju-yeon gets angry. He calls Soo-jong a hypocrite, says her kind words meant something to him, and demands the dress back, which is a problem since she already sold it. Ju-yeon spirals, saying he doesn't need friends anyway. He is comforted by the arrival of his new rave light, which promptly dies because of a faulty plug. Karma. He finds a highly rated hardware store, No. 1 Hardware, and sends a repair request. Naturally, it belongs to Soo-jong's dad, and she takes the call. Ju-yeon watching from his garage, trying to stay anonymous. But Soo-jong sees the autograph as she enters the secret room, and he catches her face on CCTV. He sprints to stop her, but it's too late as she has already opened the door and walked in. In a heartbreaking flashback, Ju-yeon's parents are driving him to an anime event when a truck crashes into them. They die, and his cold-as-ice grandmother blames him for the accident. One day, he catches her crying, and from that moment, he carries the guilt, determined to earn her approval. Flash forward to the present. Ju-yeon tries to play it cool by saying the otaku room Soo-jong stumbled into belongs to his nephew. Although she is not buying it, instead of roasting him, she says she is glad she got to know this hidden side of him. When she suddenly trips, he catches her. She ends up fixing his broken plug, as always, a queen with a toolkit, and when she confesses she sold the borrowed dress, he shockingly says she can keep it. She then gets a call that her dad has fractured his ankle. Ju-yeon insists on driving her to the hospital, handles the bills like a boss, and even upgrades Mr. Beck to the VIP ward. Before leaving, he catches her quietly tearing up. Later, she texts him a soft thank you. Enter Soo-jong's brother, Soo-bin, the walking, talking chaos. He's studying for the civil exam and being a typical annoying sibling, teasing her about possibly dating her boss, but she is horrified as Ju-yeon is the same age as him. Ju-yeon later shows up with gifts for her dad and the same stuffed toy she once admired, which is also one his parents had given him. Meanwhile, at the office, the team's jaws drop when an older woman claims a rare toy from their department. Turns out it is not just a kid's game. At home, the Baek family has some genuinely sweet moments. Soo-bin offers to help take care of their dad, so Soo-jong doesn't burn out. She picks up her toolkit from Ju-yeon's place and tries to repay him for the dress debacle, but he won't take it. Right then, her car gives up on life. Ju-yeon tells her to get it fixed, worried she might get into an accident. While waiting, they chat about her mom. He tells her to find other coping mechanisms like gaming. She confesses she used to play, until she got scammed. Since repairs are taking forever, Ju-yeon lends her a swanky car, which she reluctantly accepts. Ju-yeon heads to a meeting, but a kid drops his tablet and breaks it, along with the only digital copy of a critical work report. He tries whispering his computer password to Soo-jong, but she can't hear it. In frustration, he yells, "Orawa Akumada!" Yes, a Dragon Ball Z reference, which is kind of cringy, but it works. And the meeting goes so smoothly that even his grandma gives him props, without cracking a smile, of course. Elsewhere, Shinwon swings by Sulo, Ha-jin's restaurant, and can't stop thinking about her. He shoots his shot and asks her out, but she laughs and turns him down, his first ever rejection. Soo-jong, meanwhile, can't stop giggling about Ju-yeon screaming anime passwords. Her brother calls her a weirdo, but she doesn't care. At work, she offers Ju-yeon chocolate milk, his comfort drink, and he finally admits it's kinda nice that someone knows his secret. She remembers telling Black Dragon the same thing. Later that night, Ju-yeon bumps into Ha-jin. Flashback to 2014, he apologizes to her before heading to the US, saying they can't meet again. But she convinces him to stick around for occasional online battles. Back in the now, he avoids being seen with her and makes her sit separately at a restaurant. They talk via phone, and she doesn't get why he's being so dramatic. He just says not to acknowledge him in public, then dips. Moments later, Soo-jong walks in and chats with Ha-jin. Turns out she has no clue her director is the Black Dragon. Ha-jin senses something's up and casually asks if Soo-jong is falling for her boss. Later, Ha-jin posts a photo of her new dish, and Shin-won immediately likes it. We then cut to his family. His parents are disgustingly in love, and he wonders how he turned out so single. Back at the office, tensions spike as Soo-jong publicly challenges Ju-yeon over his decision to choose failing brands for their rebranding project. Everyone else just accepts his judgment, but in a plot twist, it was a test, and Soo-jong is the only one who passed. Still, she's pissed, especially after the whole Black Dragon mess. So, Ju-yeon decides to cheer her up as a thank you for the chocolate milk, and he drags her to an arcade. Cue absolute chaos as they go head-to-head in every game possible. Mid-fun, Ha-jin calls and invites them to dinner when she finds out Soo-jong is with her boss. On the way there, Soo-jong's shoelaces come undone. Ju-yeon kneels down to help her tie them, and they lock eyes, creating a huge tension. Ha-jin suddenly calls Soo-jong and tells her not to come as Black Dragon has arrived, leaving Soo-jong shocked. It turns out that Ha-jin had caught a glimpse of Ju-yeon and Soo-jong right outside her restaurant. She panics and warns Soo-jong, who grabs Ju-yeon and drags him into an alley to hide. Ha-jin is confused at first, but it all clicks as she now understands that Soo-jong's boss is Black Dragon. While hiding, Soo-jong tells Ju-yeon that her first love, the scammer, is back in town. In the middle of her panic, she randomly notices how firm his chest is, and Ju-yeon, being Ju-yeon, milks the moment for compliments. He waits with her at the bus stop, and before she leaves, she gives him a toy she won at the arcade, a knockoff Togeyengi, just like the one his parents once gave him. He complains about it being a fake, but refuses to return it. The next day, Ha-jin tries to decode what's going on between Soo-jong and Ju-yeon. Soo-jong admits that Ju-yeon turned out to be pretty decent despite her terrible first impression. But when asked about Black Dragon, she refuses to believe that he could have changed. Later, Ha-jin spots Shin-won hanging out with Ju-yeon and immediately yanks him away. We see a flashback to when Shin-won first introduced Ju-yeon to gaming. Ju-yeon used to be a sweet and funny guy, but after getting rejected by Soo-jong back then, he completely shut down emotionally. Back in the present, Ha-jin updates Shin-won on the whole mess. Both of them realize that if Ju-yeon and Soo-jong fall for each other and discover the truth, it'll be a total disaster. Meanwhile, Soo-jong is all soft smiles at the sight of her fake Togeyengi, while Ju-yeon puts the knockoff right beside the original. But now, it's time for Operation Break Them Up, as Shin-won tries to drive a wedge between the duo at work by suggesting Soo-jong's into a colleague. He hopes Ju-yeon's no dating in the office policy kicks in. But it totally backfires as Ju-yeon just ends up daydreaming about Soo-jong actually liking him. Meanwhile, Ha-jin starts offering free food at her restaurant for single guys only, hoping to snag Soo-jong a new love interest. On the floor, Nana slips up and tells Soo-jong that Shin-won was asking about her. Curious, Soo-jong sets up a meeting with him. Of course, Ju-yeon finds out and instantly spirals. He shows up at the cafe just in time to see her smiling, assumes the worst, and walks away heartbroken. But Soo-jong thinks Shin-won is sabotaging her and confronts him directly. Ju-yeon, meanwhile, is still freaking out about her date and shows up at her place unannounced. He warns her that Shin-won's a player, and she deserves better. She's touched by the concern and clarifies the misunderstanding. She playfully asks what would happen if she did like Shin-won. Ju-yeon's flustered but admits he wouldn't be cool with it, and that gets her thinking. At work, Soo-jong's furious when their boss swaps out the Ganghan Farm brand from the revamp lineup. She's challenged to convince Ganghan personally, a nearly impossible task since they've never partnered with any corporation before. Ju-yeon gets wind of it and shows up at the rural village just in time. Unfortunately, CEO An of Ganghan hates chaebols, so Soo-jong awkwardly introduces Ju-yeon as her younger brother. Smooth. Later, she's surprised he followed her all the way there. He says sometimes it's lonely giving your all, but he's salty about the brother title. She says calling him her boyfriend would have been weirder, which kind of throws him off. To win over Anne, they both jump into farm chores. Soo-jong slips during an argument, and Ju-yeon tries to save her, but they both end up soaked in a trough. Classic rom-com mess. Back in the city, Shinwon visits Ha Jin to cook up Plan B. Instead, they get sidetracked by bonding over books. By the end of it, they still have no plan and a weird little vibe forming. Back at the village, Anne invites Soo-jung and Joo-yeon to dinner. The couple can't stop bickering, especially over a bitter side dish. Joo-yeon keeps calling her Nuna, which totally throws her off. But when Anne gets a call from her grandson, Joo-yeon is touched by how much she loves the kid. Soo-jung uses the moment to pitch that Ganghan doesn't need to be trendy, they just need to thrive for their families. Later, Soo-jung unknowingly drinks some strong homemade alcohol. Joo-yeon realizes too late, and now they can't drive back. Anne offers them a sleepover. Once Anne's asleep, the two go out stargazing. Soo-jung opens up about being bullied as a kid for not having a mom and constantly feeling the need to prove herself. Joo-yeon totally gets it as they've both been through it. They joke about their cursed first loves and toast to their mutual trauma. Ha-jin calls in to check on them, but Soo-jung laughs it off and says she sees Joo-yeon like she sees Soo-bin, just another guy, not someone she's into. Joo-yeon overhears and is clearly hurt. Joo-yeon later leans in, kissing her, and asks if she still does not see him as a man, and then he kisses her again. Soo-jung lays awake all night, replaying the kiss over and over. She's clearly flustered, while Joo-yeon isn't getting any sleep either. In the morning, he invites her on a walk, which flatters her, though she's already plotting ways to gently turn him down, since she doesn't see him that way. He brings her to a spring and insists she try the water. He's cheerful and warm, and when she slips, he catches her, but just as suddenly he shoves her away, which only confuses her more. Back at the village, CEO Ann agrees to partner with Young-sung. Turns out, Joo-yeon had revealed his true identity in private to earn her trust. He promises Young-sung's investment in Ganghan's hospital and infrastructure projects. Big moves. On the drive home, he thanks Soo-jung for her effort and asks if he can play his playlist. While he bops along, she stews in silence, annoyed that he's pretending like the kiss never happened. Once they arrive, she finally brings it up, but he brushes it off, saying it was a mistake. That hits a nerve, and she claps back that she never saw him as a man anyway, and storms inside. But she can't drop it, and she even calls him in the middle of the night. Turns out he has zero memory of the kiss, and he thinks the mistake was them getting drunk and her ditching him for a phone call. She is stunned, and he's low-key offended that she said he's not manly. The next day, he goes full makeover mode trying to look manly, asking Kwon for tips because her husband's younger. She immediately suspects something happened at Ganghan, and Joo-yeon runs off before she can dig deeper. At work, he's all up in Soo-jung's space, singling her out and treating her whole team to a luxury buffet. The female superior sniffs drama, and snidely suggests Soo-jung must be sleeping her way to the top. Soo-jung fires back that she doesn't see Joo-yeon romantically, and of course, he overhears it all, again. To make matters worse, Ha-jin calls right then to tell Soo-jung about the lawyer she's setting her up with. Joo-yeon overhears that too. Strike 3. Meanwhile, Kwon drops a bomb. His grandmother has finally acknowledged Joo-yeon as her grandson. She's planning to go public with it. But there's a catch. She expects him to be just like her late son, all in on Young-sung. Kwon even told her Joo-yeon has no life outside of work. He starts thinking about all his sweet moments with Soo-jung and labels them a waste of time. He tells himself not to mess up this rare shot at legacy. Back at work, Soo-jung explains her emotional mess in a hypothetical to Jun-soo. He sees through it and says the guy definitely likes the girl, but he is just pretending to forget the kiss out of fear of rejection. Soo-jung smiles at the idea of Joo-yeon being scared, but then he calls her in just to give her a bonus for the Ganghan deal. No feelings, just business, and she is unimpressed. At home, she finds the romance manga he lent her and storms off to confront him. But right before knocking, she daydreams about him asking if she liked the kiss. She panics, and then he actually opens the door. She lashes out over his trash manga taste, says he'll be single forever, and then blurts out that she's agreeing to Ha-jin's blind date. Ha-jin and Shinwon celebrate like they just won the lottery. Shinwon's still hanging around the restaurant hoping Ha-jin will fall for him, but she is not. As Shinwon heads out, he bumps into Yoon-hee, his regret-filled ex. He tells her straight up that when he's done, he's done. and it hits him that it is the same goes for Ha-jin, and it is time to let go. Soo-jong meets her blind date, Ji-woo, but she can't stop thinking about Ju-yeon. Meanwhile, Ju-yeon can't stop thinking about her either. Both start acting cold and awkward at work. Later that night, Ju-yeon attends a ceremony with grandmother. Ji-woo shows up to pick Soo-jong, and Ju-yeon's mood tanks. Even when he wins a philanthropy award, he's not feeling it. Guryum's heir, the creep who flirted with Soo-jong, is there and throws shade. Ju-yeon's grandmother steps in to clarify, saying Ju-yeon isn't officially her successor, and only the most effective heir will earn that title. She compliments his progress, though, and says she's finally ready to go public with their relationship. Guryum guy tries to mock him later, but Ju-yeon throws champagne in his face like a boss, reminding him who really runs things. Meanwhile, Soo-jong and Ji-woo go on a second date. They head to Yongseong to shop, and while Ji-woo's flirting is painfully cheesy, she finds it kind of funny. Ju-yeon sulks his way through a concert until he hears a girl mention the classic line, "I don't see him as a man." This jogs his memory, and he suddenly remembers the kiss, and he's shook. Ju-yeon shows up at the store in his concert fit, dragging Soo-jong into a fitting room and blurting out that she was his first kiss. And just as things heat up, an employee tries to open the door. It seems obvious that Soo-jong is clearly not over Ju-yeon, even while she's out on a second date with Ji-woo. Ju-yeon calls her up mid-date, asks where she is, and then actually shows up, still in his concert outfit, right when Ji-woo is trying on clothes. Without warning, Ju-yeon drags Soo-jong into a changing room and brings up the kiss. Things get awkward fast when a store clerk tries to open the door, and Soo-jong panics, rushing out and claiming she was just fixing her shirt. She then causes a distraction so Ju-yeon can sneak out. Flustered and overwhelmed, Soo-jong ends up rejecting Ji-woo. After he leaves, Ju-yeon apologizes for forgetting the kiss, but he makes it clear he doesn't regret it, which leaves Soo-jong shaken. Just then, Ha-jin calls, giving her an excuse to bolt, but that night, Soo-jong couldn't stop thinking about Ju-yeon. She's stunned that she's even catching feelings for someone so quirky and young. Ju-yeon is thinking about her too. He even sends a sweet text. She smiles, then leaves him on red. Cold. Meanwhile, Ha-jin and her parents are confused about why Soo-jong dumped Ji-woo. Ha-jin's mom keeps nagging her to date, and Ha-jin accidentally spills that she might have feelings for someone. Back at work, Ju-yeon is clearly looking for Soo-jong, but she's actively dodging him. She even starts writing a pros and cons list about dating him. Spoiler, her cons are stuff like his dragon tattoo and his obsession with gaming. Then things get messy as Ju-yeon is officially revealed as Chairwoman Ban's grandson, and the internet explodes. Everyone at the office is impressed, including Mr. Baek. Reality hits Soo-jong hard that she is just a regular employee, and he's the heir to Yongseong, and she deletes her list. When Ju-yeon finally corners her, she gives him a brutal reality check, saying she is his subordinate, and if they're caught, she is the one who'll get fired. He doesn't like it, but he knows she's right. Elsewhere, Shinwon can't stop thinking about Ha-jin. His friend tries to set him up on a date at Sulo, but he refuses, as he doesn't want to make Ha-jin uncomfortable. Turns out, he's been low-key watching her from afar. Ha-jin also misses him too. Kwon, meanwhile, is thrilled about Ju-yeon's big reveal, thinking this makes him one step closer to becoming heir. But that just makes Ju-yeon realize that if he has to choose between Soo-jong and the company, it's gonna hurt either way. When Shinwon drunkenly cries over Ha-jin, for once, Ju-yeon totally gets it. Back at the office, Ju-yeon is trying to play it cool, but he can't help watching Soo-jong. She tells him she has a date, but won't say who it's with. Of course, the man shows up anyway, only to find her having lunch with her family. The Baek men welcome him. He pays the bill. By the end of the night, Soo-bin gives him the classic hurt her and you're dead speech, and Ju-yeon promises he won't break Soo-jong's heart. But things get dicey, as his maid accidentally lets it slip to the chairwoman that Ju-yeon won't let her clean his study. Suspicious, the chairwoman decides to pay him a surprise visit. Meanwhile, Soo-jong scolds Ju-yeon for crashing her lunch, and he admits that he's terrified of how strongly he feels about her. Just then, Kwon shows up in a panic. The chairwoman is on her way. Everyone, including Shinwon and Ha-jin, scrambles to stall her, but it's not enough. Ju-yeon and Soo-jong don't have time to hide everything. She ducks out of sight while he answers the door. The chairwoman's not buying his tidy study setup, until she finds a strategically planted family photo. Hook, line, and sinker, she flips out, rants about how Ju-yeon has no right to miss her son, his dad, blames him for his death, and smashes the photo. Before leaving, she orders Kwon to keep an even closer eye on him. After she's gone, Soo-jung helps clean up, and Ju-yeon opens up about how his hobbies are the only joy left in his life, and how everything he's ever loved has had to be a secret, except her. He can't hide his feelings for her anymore. Soo-jung goes home deep in thought, and her dad notices she looks down, but she assures him it's not about him. She keeps thinking about all the sweet moments with Ju-yeon and finally makes up her mind. She runs to find him and spots him by the fountain. She asks if he is really okay with the risk of being exposed. He says yes, and she confesses she likes him too. They then share a kiss, and in the attic of her house, we see Ju-yeon's stuff tucked away, with one box labeled Black Dragon. Ju-yeon and Soo-jung share smiles and soft laughter. He hesitates to hold her hand, but she takes the lead. They wander around in circles, exchanging light conversation, but every time they get close to uncovering their shared gaming history, something or someone cuts them off. Soo-jung, unsure about their dynamic, keeps pulling back or hiding her feelings. As they part, Ju-yeon makes a rock and roll hand sign. She laughs, and he tells her it actually means "I love you" in sign language. Later, she sends him a selfie doing the same gesture, and he's absolutely glowing. Elsewhere, CEO Lee Hyung-gun approaches Ha-jin, but she firmly shuts down any idea of romance and walks away. At the same time, Shinwon unfollows Ha-jin's account before heading to a class reunion. Some of the female classmates gossip about Ha-jin's ex, and when she appears, she calmly assures them she's fine. It turns out she and Shinwon went to the same school, and they end up running into each other on the rooftop to avoid the nosy crowd. There, Ha-jin opens up about her ex, how she thought she knew him forever, but he cheated right after they got married. Shinwon tells her he's always been sincere, and she already knows she has seen him at Sulo, quietly watching over her. She asks if he wants to sleep with her. He says only if they're dating. She kisses him and playfully tells him they'll need to start dating then. On the weekend, Ju-yeon drops by Soo-jung's place, but Mr. Baek spots them and pulls him inside with a flimsy excuse. Things get worse when Soo-bin shows up. He keeps throwing shade at Ju-yeon, who is left confused. Once he's gone, Soo-bin scolds Soo-jung for being reckless with her love life, even imagining Chairwoman Ban throwing water and money at her in true K-drama style. Soo-jung brushes it off, but is moved when he admits he just doesn't want her to get hurt. Later, while waiting for a meeting, Ju-yeon asks Kwon why she helped him, but she denies it, instead telling him he's the best fit to succeed Chairwoman Ban, but quietly warns him to stop making mistakes. Meanwhile, Shinwon asks Ha-jin why she changed her mind about them, and she says she doesn't like overcomplicating things. They like each other, they're happy, and that's enough, which he agrees with. Monday marks Soo-jung and Ju-yeon's first day navigating work as a couple. Whenever they're nearly caught, she covers by yelling at him in front of others. This makes him sulks, and she tries to make it up to him. Deputy Yang unknowingly adds to the drama by rambling about Soo-jung's blind dates and her preference for mature men, and Ju-yeon retaliates by assigning him shredding duty. That evening, Soo-jung is stunned to find out Ha-jin and Shinwon are dating. As they talk, the older couple jokes about Ju-yeon liking sweet and affectionate girls, everything Soo-jung isn't, and it annoys her. Things get tense at work when two sales teams argue. Ju-yeon steps in, calms everyone, and compliments Soo-jung's work. But once everyone leaves, her superior once again accuses her of sleeping with him. On their first proper date, Ju-yeon realizes he can't wear what he wants. Soo-jung saves the day with matching couple outfits that still fit the chaebol image. He wishes she didn't have to hide their relationship, but she's fine with it. Her mood shifts, though, when he plays a song they once shared during their gaming days. She tells him, and he gets jealous that her first love still lives in her mind. She laughs it off, but he urges her to let the past go and make the song theirs. Ju-yeon later gushes over their soft launch photos, but his joy fades fast when Shinwon appears and realizes Soo-jung is the mystery girlfriend. Later, Soo-jung struggles with a client, only to find Ju-yeon already handled it. She is impressed, and he teases her about it. Kwon catches her blushing as she leaves and grows suspicious about how long their report meeting took. Shinwon tells Ha-jin about Ju-yeon and Soo-jung. She is shocked, but he doesn't want to ruin it as they look genuinely happy, and he just hopes they never uncover the full truth. Later that night, Ju-yeon asks Soo-jung to look for an old manga, just as an excuse to visit, She chuckles and sifts through the boxes tucked away in her attic. But the mood shifts when he arrives as she is visibly upset. She holds up a necklace and asks if he is Black Dragon, and it is the same one he wore when he proposed to her 15 years ago. Sujong and Juyeon finally connect the dots about their shared gaming past. She hands him the manga, then bolts back inside, feeling overwhelmed. We flash back to a younger Sujong, being bullied for her family's financial struggles, and when the bully gets hurt, she is blamed, and Mr. Beck carries the guilt. But Sujong chooses resilience, deciding she has to be strong for her family. In the present, she realizes she has never leaned on anyone except Black Dragon. Meanwhile, Ha-jin and Shin-won, unknowingly on the same wavelength, try to set things up so the couple can come clean before things get worse. Sujong admits she's not mad about Juyeon being a middle schooler, and it is the lie that stings. She is unsure who she fell for, the real 15-year-old or the fake 22-year-old he pretended to be. Shin-won tries to play mediator, but Sujong stands firm, saying they can't keep dating. Juyeon is crushed, thinking they could have pushed through their embarrassing love story together, but Ha-jin sees right through Sujong, believing she's just scared to reopen old wounds. The next day, Juyeon tries to play it cool at work but ends up confronting her. He apologizes, hoping she can see he's changed. But when she doesn't budge, he snaps, calling her heartless. She fires back that if she hasn't changed, so why should she believe he has? Juyeon spirals, drinking with Shin-won, finally realizing how deeply his lie cut her. Then the plot thickens, as a photo of him dining with the Beck family hits the internet, paired with a spicy rumor that Sujong's marrying him. The office buzzes with gossip, and her female superior looks particularly uneasy. Juyeon tries to explain the run-in to Kwon, but his grandmother isn't buying it, and she demands Sujong be fired. Juyeon steps in to stop it, but once he's gone, Chairwoman Ban turns to Kwon and orders him to take the fall. Worried after hearing about the confrontation, Sujong checks in on Juyeon, but he coldly brushes her off, reminding her they're not together anymore. She's stunned by his sudden distance. That night, rain starts pouring, and Sujong rushes out to buy an umbrella, but can't stop thinking about Juyeon, about the song they shared, the moment he asked her to live in the now. Tears start falling, and the Bayek men are thrown off by her sudden breakdown. Subin wants to confront Juyeon, but Sujong confesses she ended things, and she apologizes to Mr. Bayek for not being stronger. Meanwhile, back at the office, Juyeon quietly carries an umbrella, clearly on his way to her, but stops himself. The next morning, the tension is thick at work, but Deputy Yang sees it as a blessing. Maybe now the rumors will finally die down. Over at Sulo, Shin-won's back at it, cleaning. Ha-jin feels guilty, but he insists. He just wants to be near her, however he can. They both worry about Juyeon and Sujong, especially with the rumors still swirling. Days pass, and both try to move on, pretending they're fine, but they're not. One evening, she finds him dozing off and gently rests his head for him, unable to help herself. The next day, Juyeon shows up late, visibly unwell. Sujong plays it off as work-related concern, asking Kwon where he is, and she's shaken to hear he hasn't been eating or resting. Even worse is that the chairwoman would be furious if she knew he was risking the company by being sick. Meanwhile, Juyeon, barely standing, tries to leave for work anyway. Sujong tries to stay out of it, but her heart gets the best of her, and she dashes to his place. Kwon sees this and calls Chairwoman Ban. Sujong arrives to find Juyeon unconscious on the floor. She tucks him in and apologizes, finally acknowledging his pain. He wakes, stops her from leaving, and thanks her for loving him. He doesn't regret a second of it. She confesses she still loves him too. And they kiss. Then, in a gut punch, Juyeon gets a notice that he has been fired, and the office watches silently as his desk is cleared out. Sujong and Juyeon are in full-blown couple mode, clingy, giddy, and refusing to let go. They fall asleep together, and the next morning, Sujong tries sneaking back home, only to get caught by her dad. But instead of scolding, he surprises her with a heartfelt moment, saying all he wants is for her to be happy. Their reunion bliss doesn't last long, though. Juyeon officially gets fired. The chairwoman sees photos of him dropping Sujong off and flips out. Turns out Kwon had been covering for them, claiming there was nothing between the two. She resigns, but before leaving, she tells Sujong she's glad someone like her is in Juyeon's corner. Juyeon tries to plead with his grandmother for another shot, but she coldly calls him a defect. The realization hits. He'll never live up to her standards. Just as Soo-jong is about to march in and tell the chairwoman off, she sees Ju-yeon walking out, broken. While he cries alone in his car, Soo-jong silently waits for him. Still, they find a silver lining. They no longer have to hide. They make date plans, and Soo-jong even agrees to go to one of his concerts. Meanwhile, Shin-won is worried but perks up when he hears Ju-yeon is with Soo-jong. His mom catches him smiling and finds out he's dating, and in a twist, he tells her he wants to spend his life with Ha-jin. Ju-yeon meets Kwon and learns she knew everything but kept quiet to protect his happiness. They part ways amicably. Now unemployed, he ends up hanging around Soo-jong's place and runs into Subin. Over a meal, they bicker, and Ju-yeon finds out Soo-jong's only ever cried twice, once for Black Dragon and once for him. Wanting to make things right, Ju-yeon starts helping out Mr. Beck with random jobs, which earns him some chuckles. Mr. Beck opens up, sad that he can't do more for Soo-jong. Ju-yeon promises never to hurt her again. On the corporate side, the chairwoman appoints a new director, Park Ji-chol, and quietly orders Soo-jong's termination. Back at home, Ju-yeon is cooking for the Becks, and they're low-key impressed. The guys argue over who gets to sleep next to him, and the three end up camped out in the living room like college roommates. Soo-jong thinks it's adorable and secretly texts him to meet in the attic. He flexes about his computer builds, she teases him, and they end up spending the night reading manga together. Next morning, Ju-yeon sees her off and swears never to make her cry again. She leaves smiling, but things take a turn. Soo-jong gets transferred to the tech department. She owns it, though, openly admits she's dating Ju-yeon, and takes her new job in stride. Her former superior surprisingly feels bad, and she even admits her dislike for Soo-jong came from jealousy over her work ethic. Shin-won and Ha-jin have their own chaos brewing. Ha-jin's ex returns with Mrs. Seo, hoping for a reunion, but Ha-jin spills the tea. He cheated. Mrs. Seo tries to smack him but sprains her wrist instead. Shin-won kicks the ex out. Later at the hospital, Ha-jin's parents apologize for blaming her, and she says she's dating Shin-won, instantly regretting it as her mom starts wedding planning. Meanwhile, Ju-yeon senses something's up with Soo-jong when she's vague about her day. Turns out, the chairwoman finally confronts her. Soo-jong refuses to leave, saying Ju-yeon deserves a way back. She tells the chairwoman no successor will ever work as hard or love the company as much as her grandson. Ju-yeon eventually catches her in her technician uniform and is visibly upset that she is enduring all this for him. But Soo-jong shuts that down. She's doing this for herself, and because she loves him. That night, Shin-won drops off a ridiculous amount of gifts at Sulo. He rambles about security and cameras, making Ha-jin uneasy, and she tells him to stop worrying so much, but he refuses. He wants to face everything together. She walks away, overwhelmed. Finally, the renewal project's business agreement ceremony is about to begin. The chairwoman gets called away, and Ju-yeon walks in, cool and composed, reintroducing himself as the new director. At the business agreement signing with Hana City, Ju-yeon discovers that director Park Ji-chol is not only shady, but also connected to the city's mayor and knee-deep in fraud. Ju-yeon threatens to blow the lid off the whole thing unless Grandma plays ball. She agrees, but throws down one condition that the renewal project must succeed. If it flops, Soo-jong gets the boot, and Ju-yeon has to voluntarily walk away from both the family and his inheritance. No pressure, right? But Ju-yeon and Soo-jong agree to take the risk and prove once and for all that he deserves to be the heir. Back at work, the team is thrilled to see Soo-jong return. Ju-yeon is practically glowing, but not exactly slick about hiding his excitement. Things get even more animated when he learns there'll be a Pirate King pop-up event during the reopening. At lunch, Ju-yeon's chill just completely evaporates. He doesn't hide their relationship at all, and a little PDA slips out. To cover it up, he panics and ends up feeding Deputy Yang, who's caught completely off guard. But not everyone's amused. Some co-workers start whispering that Soo-jong's life must be a cakewalk now that she's dating a chaebol. At first, she brushes it off, but the jabs slowly start to sting. Later, while wrapping up, Ju-yeon thanks her for picking Pirate King. He opens up about the Togangi plushie, the only thing he has left from his parents. Suddenly, that anime means a lot more. Elsewhere, Shin-won is still brooding over Ha-jin. She's also stuck in her own head, clearly missing him. As planning ramps up, Soo-jong encourages Ju-yeon to take a photo with the Pirate King creator. Shinwan joins a meeting and catches them in another moment of PDA. He's amused, though his jaw is aching. Juyeon freaks out over it, and Shinwan just teases him. Even Chief Kwan gets in on the fun, surprising Juyeon with her cheeky humor. Later at dinner with Hajin, Juyeon and Sujong are confused. Hajin doesn't even know about Shinwan's condition. She sadly opens up about the breakup, saying her ex left her too shattered to trust again. Sujong gently tells her that wanting to trust Shinwan is love. Meanwhile, Juyeon is pushing himself too hard, and Sujong notices. Kwan lets it slip that he made a deal with Grandma, and Sujong is furious, but Juyeon doesn't regret it. He knows how painful it is to want to be seen, and he just couldn't let her get fired after everything she's done. Back with Hajin, the words about trust are echoing in her head. Even customers ask about Shinwan and comment on how sweet he was to her. But the good vibes don't last. CEO Kim Mi-jung from Big Forest Mall swoops in, trying to recruit Sujong. She warns that no matter how hard Sujong works, people will always think her success is just because of Juyeon. Juyeon has his own mess. He tries to stop a kid from crashing into someone with hot soup, but the kid falls and cries. His parents go full drama mode. A conveniently clipped video goes viral, showing only the fall. Cue the cancel culture. Performers, sponsors, even the Pirate King author start backing out, 3 days before the reopening. With everything on the line, Juyeon calls a meeting, and it turns out that Black Dragon is actually Pirate King's biggest sponsor. Juyeon meets with the author, who's touched by his genuine love for the series and asks if he's banned Juyeon. In a flashback, we see that Sujong had already visited the creator earlier and gave the same heartfelt speech about Juyeon's passion, and it left a mark. In the present, Juyeon thanks Sujong. He feels like a burden, always needing her help and making her life harder. But Sujong reassures him that they are a team and they lean on each other. Later that night, Juyeon discovers that Park Ji-chil was behind the slander campaign. He also spots a call from CEO Mi-jung on Sujong's phone, and he suspects that it is not a coincidence. Things finally turn around, as the Pirate King author publicly supports Juyeon and even agrees to host his first fan signing in Korea. Over at the dentist, Shinwan's jaw pain turns out to be a wisdom tooth. On his way out, Hajin shows up, and she apologizes, saying she wants to be with him but is scared. Shinwan confesses he still likes her, but worries that if he crosses the line, he'll push her away. He sadly decides they won't work, and walks off. Reopening day is a smash hit. Juyeon publicly owns his fandom and Grandma is livid. But he tells her straight up, he's done hiding. If the project was a success, the only thing she needs to do now is keep Sujong. She can fire him instead. Outside, reporters ambush Sujong about her relationship. Juyeon steps in and shields her. Meanwhile, Mr. Beck sees the coverage and everyone at home starts teasing Sujong, thinking she climbed the ladder with love. She pretends she's okay, but her dad sees through her. Right on cue, Mi-jung texts her, pouring more salt on the wound. In a quiet, late-night date, Juyeon senses something's wrong and tells her she is free to walk away if it's too much. Sujong stays quiet, but that silence says a lot. Juyeon accidentally listens in as the team chats about how Big Forest Mall is trying to lure Sujong over to their US branch. But the mood turns sour when they bring up the rumors that she got ahead by sleeping her way to the top, clearly weighing on her. Fast forward, Juyeon tells Sujong she should go to Big Forest if she wants. The fact that it is in the US, and she may be going for good doesn't seem to faze him. Sujong, understandably, is annoyed that he is acting like he couldn't care less. She starts giving him the cold shoulder, and she ghosts him. The next day after work, Shinwan is in his feelings, and Juyeon gives him some brutal honesty, calling Hajin brave and Shinwan a coward for bailing, which hits hard. Later on, Juyeon is left scratching his head while Deputy Yang wonders if he did something wrong. Juyeon checks in with Chief Kwan, who gives him a verbal smackdown. She explains where Sujong's coming from, but that just confuses him more. He thought it was a given, they'd go to the States together. Then things spiral. Subin alerts him that Sujong has taken all his Black Dragon boxes to his place. He rushes home, panicked, only to find his apartment decked out with all his childhood faves, manga, action figures, you name it. Turns out she wanted to surprise him. That's why she ghosted. She even made a meal inspired by Pirate King. Though she mixed up salt and sugar, he eats it anyway. Finally they talk, and he drops the bomb that he was planning to go to the US with her all along. But Sujong had a heart-to-heart with Hajin the night before, and things clicked. She decides to stay. She is not running away because of gossip. She has got people she loves here. and better things are coming. Meanwhile, Shinwan ends up drunk calling Ha-jin, and thanks to an accidental speakerphone moment, confesses he loves her and is sorry for being a coward. She yells back that she loves him too, to which the customers at her restaurant applauded, causing more embarrassment. The next day, he thanks her for forgiving him, and they're all smiles. Ju-yeon and Soo-jong visit their family's graves and have a soft, heartfelt moment. He shares how scared he used to be of Grandma catching him goofing off. Speaking of Grandma, she runs into Chief Kwon and complains that Ju-yeon is wasting his potential. Love, she says, is a weakness. Kwon shuts that down fast, saying love makes people stronger. Ju-yeon's been through hell and still stuck around. She tells Grandma to own up to her grief and stop taking it out on him. Meanwhile, someone leaks Shin-won and Ha-jin's call, which goes viral, and her restaurant gets flooded with customers. Elsewhere, Grandma shows up at his place and is shaken by the changes. She sees a family photo, and the ice around her heart finally cracks. When Ju-yeon walks in, they finally make peace. She apologizes. She's been hurting and lashed out at the wrong person. It's late, but she thanks him for always being there. Soo-jong goes to visit Ju-yeon, and although their cringy gaming past is still a touchy subject, they end their contract, as he explains that he doesn't need to hide, and she doesn't need job security anymore. Later, during a team karaoke session, someone picks Confession, Ju-yeon's old proposal song from 15 years ago, but Soo-jong instantly changes it, mortified. This makes Ju-yeon sulks, and he drowns his feelings in rock ballads. She laughs and admits teenage Ju-yeon wasn't too bad. On the way home, she overhears his voice memos about her and leaves one of her own saying he is cool too. Meanwhile, Soo-jong goes on a mini journey of self-discovery. Inspired by Ju-yeon, she tries to find her thing, starts with manga, and knocks out mid-red, tries painting and knitting, ends up annoyed. To cheer her up, Ju-yeon organizes a group picnic. With games and countryside chaos, he and Soo-jong fall into their usual competitive rhythm. Shinwan tells Ha-jin she can keep her fears and suspicions, but they'll erase them together. She agrees and hugs him, sealing their little pact. Shinwan later quits Yongsung and decides to be Ha-jin's business partner. Ju-yeon is floored, but Shinwan is loving the kitchen life. Mr. Beck, now a secret Yongsung shareholder, thanks to some clever savings, wants to confront Grandma, but she beats him to it with an apology. Ju-yeon joins the board, officially stepping into his role. Later, they go to a concert by Ju-yeon's favorite band, Crackshot. The lead singer recognizes them from the sunglasses store, which is wild. As they leave, Soo-jong admits she felt genuinely happy. Maybe she doesn't need a hobby, just moments like this. Soo-jong gets promoted to section chief, but the office buzz is gross with more rumors about her sleeping her way up. A female superior finally speaks out, apologizes, and says she wishes she'd stood up earlier, like Soo-jong did. In other updates, Subin becomes a firefighter, and the Bayeks celebrate. After their concert date, Ju-yeon finds the key lock necklace she rejected all those years ago. While heading out, they spot a high school couple doing a public proposal. They laugh about how much they've grown. This time, Ju-yeon gives her a real necklace, a diamond one, and she accepts. The series closes with a montage of them being full-on couple goals. Soo-jong reflects that fate is whatever they make it, and she's happy her dark past led her to love. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and see you next time.